before you say anything, I know I should have made this video a long time ago. But I'm making it now, so that's fine, right? Now, if you're not aware, which I seriously doubt if you're watching this, I made a video back in 2017 about my top 10 least favorite monsters. And, well, that was not one of my greatest videos that I ever made.
The reason why the Tigrex's hitbox is so annoying is because of its huge and awkward size. Not to mention that it's faster than it should be. I still hate the Belongo with a fiery passion. But my problem with it is the fact that it can very easily get you caught in several combos that can be very hard to escape from, and very frustrating.
Okay, that definitely was one of the worst videos I ever made. That aside, today I'm going to be talking about what I thought was wrong about that video. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about 3 monsters that were on that original list that I don't think should have been there to begin with. But, before we get into that, I am going to be remaking this video very soon, so I'm not going to be covering every single monster on that list because, again, there are some monsters from the original list that make it back again on the new list, so I wouldn't want to spoil anything. I'm only going to be covering the monsters that will not be returning on that list. So with that being said, let's talk about the 3 monsters that I don't think deserve to be on my original top 10 least favorite monster or monsters video. Ah yes, Tigrex. This monster was my 10th least favorite monster in my original video, but is now currently one of my favorite ones, which is something that would have shocked 2017 Ryan to his utter core. First of all, my original reasons for not liking this monster were along the lines of, well, I was just bad at fighting it, and because of that, it was the game's fault that this monster was bad, and not my lack of skill. I'll just say this, Tigrex is a very well made monster, especially compared to some of the other monsters in the series. It has a rage mode that is constantly moving and is super aggressive. But whenever it gets exhausted, it stays in that state for longer than other monsters and is in particular more open to getting punished, which compensates for Tigrex's enraged mode, which doesn't even last as long in Iceborne as it did in previous games, which is even better. Furthermore, Tigrex is an actually really fun and creative monster. Its gimmick is of course its powerful roars that can damage you and its powerful charging attacks. I feel like it focuses less so on its roaring in Iceborne and turn for more brute attacks, but that's just my opinion. That aside, my arguments for not liking this monster were kind of BS. First of all, Tigrex's hitboxes aren't bad in 4U, like I claimed they were. An example of an actual bad hitbox is Plesiot's infamous hip check and 3 ultimate, because that shit was absurd. Honestly, other than the point that I kind of fabricated, there wasn't any real legitimate reasons for me not liking this monster other than me being bad at fighting it. This is something that I honestly thought I would never say. I actually don't hate Zinogre anymore. Don't get the wrong idea, I definitely still don't like this monster by any means. I just don't hate it nearly as much as I did in my original video. Out of all the monsters I talked about in my original top 10, I'm going to attempt to explain my reasoning for not liking this monster originally and how I currently feel about it now. For starters, my original reason for me not liking this monster was its variety of combos that could very easily stun lock you, especially in the older games. Now, for those who don't know, Thunderblight makes it so you're more likely to get stunned, which is the primary reason why I didn't like this monster originally. You could get hit with Thunderblight and then get hit with another attack that could stun lock you, which could in turn stun lock you into even more attacks. The best example of this is its 3 claw slams. There's actually a clip of this happening in my original top 10. That aside, I claim that it was cheap that Zinogre was able to stun lock you so easily. But, something that I overlooked is the fact that all you have to do to remedy this is to either have a stun lock resistance armor set, or to eat a Nullberry as soon as you get inflicted with Thunderblight. I guess I just chose to ignore this when writing my reasonings for not liking this monster. Secondly, I didn't like this monster because I claimed it was enraged way too often. Again, This can easily be countered by being skillful and hitting it in the head enough times before it becomes enraged. So every problem I originally had with Zinogre was caused because of my lack of knowledge of this monster, or the simple fact that I just didn't think to do these things. So Zinogre is not a bad monster by any means. It's actually one of those monsters that can easily be punished for what makes it so powerful, and that is what I really respect about this monster. And finally, I really didn't like this monster because, well, I was so bad at fighting it. It's actually hysterical looking back at my old footage of me fighting this monster and just seeing how clueless I was on how to handle Zinogre. Nowadays, I can actually handle its fight without getting totally wrecked. However, it doesn't change the fact that I simply don't enjoy this fight. Now, I will admit that it is significantly more fun to fight in Iceborne than it's been in any installment for me personally, just because of the new changes with its fight, like the fact that its tells are way more obvious and slower, its windows of getting punished are a little bit bigger, and it has 2 different power states instead of just one like the older games. So now there are more layers of complexity with its fight, and there are more opportunities to stop it from being enraged for a majority of the fight. So Iceborne Zinogre is definitely a step in the right direction. Who knows, I might actually enjoy this monster one day. And last, but certainly not least, Gigginox. For whatever reason, I had the gall to compare Gigginox to Khezu, which is not only insulting to Gigginox, but is a flat out lie. First of all, Gigginox is actually very successful in not only being scary, but also unique. Also, I kind of made a video comparing Khezu to Gigginox. If you want to check that video out, you definitely should. I'll put a link to it in the description below. I really don't even remember hating this monster, so that's why I'm especially confused on why it's placed so high on my list. I actually went back and looked at my original script for this, and all I saw me talking about was how much I sucked at fighting Gigginox, and how its attacks are cheap or did way too much damage. Honestly, Gigginox is actually another one of those pretty well balanced monsters, especially compared to Khezu. Its attacks have very clear reads that can be countered if you know what you're doing. It's pretty weak since it's an early game monster, so you won't have to fight it for too long, especially if you're grinding it with in-game gear. And it has a very unique moveset that I really haven't seen any other monsters have, especially the attacks involving its poison bombs and eggs. However, I will admit that it can be quite annoying whenever it sleeps on the wall, but that can be solved by bringing bounce bombs. So this really isn't a huge deal, especially whenever it's on the wall or ceiling, it will fall and be stunned for a short amount of time if you manage to hit it with bounce bombs. So this monster was placed on my list yet again because I had a bad case of get good and a lack of understanding of how to fight it. Honestly, it feels so good to clear the air about my opinions on these monsters, because for the longest time, I really didn't have a reason to make a video talking about these monsters. So that's why I'm really glad that I got to talk about all 3 of them in one video. I hope that you guys are really excited for the remake of this video because, if I'm going to be quite frank, it's way overdue. Expect it to come out sometime after I hit 30,000 subscribers, which at the time of me uploading this video, we are very close to doing. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, then make sure to click the like button because I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want to see more videos like this one and be notified for whenever a new top 10 least favorite monster or monsters video comes out, make sure to click the subscribe button. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. My name is Ryan Kelly and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.